All right, we're here on the SchmearCast, and I'm here with Ezgi Eren. And Ezgi, we're going to talk about movies today. Is that okay with you?
That sounds amazing.
Okay. Ezgi is the proprietor of the 11 a.m. Saturday Substack, which is this awesome questionnaire that I'll let you tell the listeners what it is really. But from my perspective, what it is just you bringing together film lovers, but showing the diversity of opinion when it comes to going to the movies, what people love, what kind of unites us, but what differentiates us in how we consume movies, but like a real respect and love for them always coming through first. So am I on the money with that?
That's great. I should just write that down.
What to you is 11 a.m. and how did you come up with this?
It's essentially a questionnaire. I asked the people, the film lovers, the same 15 questions each time. It's a questionnaire about people's movie-going habits. So I obviously love going to the movies. I love watching movies at the movie theater specifically. Like, I don't consider myself like a big cinephile when it comes to film history and like seeing absolutely everything the way some of my like film critic friends do. But I just love going to the movies almost like more than the movies themselves, if that makes sense. So
The ritual.
the ritual of it all, and
Not the sticky floors, the good parts or the bad parts too,
or
maybe.
the bad parts too sometimes.
Okay.
No. Yeah, but I came up with the idea late 2023. I have been a social media consultant slash manager for a decade, and I was working heavily in the beauty industry and didn't really love it and wanted to change. And I thought, like, around the same time I heard of Substack, and I thought like maybe it's time I start something of my own. And I always wanted to do something in film, and somehow I don't remember how or when, but I came across the old New York Magazine used to do this thing called 21 Questions that was just the same questions asked to people who are native New Yorkers. And I always loved reading those. Like, no matter if I know the person or not, I just love hearing about people's routines.
Yep.
And something about it being the same questions also gives you that comfort. Like
calming.
yeah, like you know what you're gonna
Yeah.
find. So yeah, I was inspired by that, and yeah, it just came together. And I started just from friends, and then friends of friends, and then slowly started reaching out to people I admire in the industry. And
Do you know how many questionnaires you've done by now?
actually, someone asked me this yesterday, and I should have checked. But
I think over 50.
yeah, I think it's close to 100 now.
Oh, close to 100. Okay,
Yeah.
so I am just curious, like, I don't want you to say one interview is better than the other. What are some of, like, the favorite answers you've come across? Like, what are some things that have inspired you from reaching out to people?
So many. I think I told you too, like I always wait till I'm drafting the newsletter to read them because I just love reading them so much, and I'm always like delaying it. So, it's like a moment.
Right.
I always love when people give me like specific details, like personal details. Usually for the first movie you remember seeing in a theater question, there's such great stories of like people, crying the first time or like leaving the movie or like making fun of their sibling who got scared.
What's the, like, mean age for most people? When are they seeing a movie in theaters for the first time?
Like very young. I would say like 6, 7.
Okay.
But it is always a shock when like someone's first movie is from like 2005, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so old. mine's the freaking Lion King. So yeah, but I mean, there's a big age range. I love the first question to like people's favorite day to go because I feel like it's so different. I was actually making like a list of what days people like to go, and I've had every single day, every single
Wow.
hour. Like, you got like Mondays at midnight, you got like Sunday mornings. It's really interesting.
Okay. So those are some nice answers. What are some of the, like, strangest things that you've heard from this questionnaire? Have you
Oh my God.
have you
Yeah.
have you had to reconsider any friendships or anything because of some weird answers?
Oh my God, yeah. I had someone say they don't like Diet Coke. They called Diet Coke disgusting, and I was like, I don't even want to print this. But I'm always surprised by people who prefer to not have anything to eat or drink at the
Okay.
movies, because like to me it's almost like part of it, like
Mm.
the snacking. At least a drink, like at least a coffee or Diet Coke. And yeah, that's always interesting. That's like many people too.
So you're kind of like a anthropologist of moviegoers,
I guess.
right?
Yeah, I
So
guess.
what have you discovered about people and moviegoing that you didn't know maybe before this started?
I honestly, I didn't know people. Like I said, I was in the beauty industry, and not to, whatever. Like maybe it was just the people I knew, but they didn't really go to the movies. And I thought like, oh, this is like a dying thing. Like we need to do something. And now like obviously the community, my community gets bigger and bigger, and it's so nice to see like people actually love going to the movies. Like we obviously do talk about what can be better, and
Hmm.
those are very real too, but I think a lot of people will continue to go kind of regardless of like what's showing, which is a relief. But more specifically, recently I started asking people if they like intermissions or if they prefer an intermission after the Brutalist, and I'm kind of shocked that a lot of people do, because I kind of don't. And I
Okay.
thought everyone would agree with me, but this happens often where I think everyone's going to agree with me and they don't.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, I think, did you ever fill out the questionnaire yourself? Was that the first one?
That was the first one. I did it again, maybe already a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were some of
But
your answers? Where do you like to sit?
I thought about this. My answers change all the time.
Yeah.
I used to be like a back of the theater center girly. Now I kind of love the front.
Okay. The
It's
Quentin
interesting.
Tarantino style, the like,
Yeah,
take
yeah.
it all in your face kind of thing.
But depends on the room and the seat, obviously. But yeah, I also love an aisle so I can get out easily if I need to. My answers changed since the last time I did it. Like my favorite theater changed after I moved. It used to be, I think, the Vista I had said in Los Feliz. And now I love Vidiots. I love AMC Burbank, all three of them.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, have you, before we get into more of the episode, I guess I want to know, like, have you taken in and learned things from your questionnaire filler outers that you've changed your own movie-going habits through?
Oh, that's a great question. No. No, I mean, I'm sure it has been influencing me subliminally.
Yeah.
I do get a lot of film recommendations, like even though the questionnaire isn't so much about specific movies, but I do find out about a lot of movies, especially people who do the whole festival circuit. So yeah, I love that. What else? I used to ask people, like, do you prefer to go with a group or solo? I took that question out because I thought, like, it's not very interesting to read about, but
Yeah.
it's
It's
like
funny.
it could be one or two things.
Yeah.
But I've definitely been going more solo since I started doing this, which I
Nice.
love.
Yeah.
I love going by myself.
Yeah. I mean, and even just since you've started it, I feel like our world is spinning even faster than ever. I don't know, like the theater quiets the mind a bit still.
Totally.
All right, so I wanted to have you on because I'm such a fan of the questionnaire, but I also wanted to talk about this like thesis that's been roiling up inside of me, which is like movie going's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't think it was for a little bit. It was in the past, and then I feel like for the past like 10 years, COVID definitely was tough on movie going. But there seems to be like a fun liveliness associated with the theater, and not all theaters. Like, I'm not here saying that every theater is great, and we're going to talk about some issues that theaters have. But are you feeling that too? Like, there's just a good energy around movie going again? How do
Yeah,
you explain
absolutely.
it?
Well, and I live in LA, so I think I'm very privileged. Like, since I moved here, it's been great. There's definitely new energy with companies like Letterboxd, Criterion Closet.
Yeah.
They've had the truck here I think twice in like past 6 months, and it's just
People
like,
calling DVDs physical media.
yeah,
A rebrand of DVDs, you know?
right. Everyone thinking about their top four.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think like TikTok probably had something to do with it. I think there's definitely new blood. I have been noticing a lot of young boys and girls at the movies.
Mm.
A lot of young, like especially at rep screenings, which is super cool. Sometimes
Hmm.
they're annoying, but I'm glad that they're there, even when they're loud. But yeah, I think it is becoming like cool again. Maybe Barbenheimer had something to do with
Hmm.
it too, like to have that like almost summer festival experience with movies.
Right. I grew up in New York City,
Hmm.
so I also had the privilege of like just some of the best movie theaters in the country. So I try to be cognizant that maybe that experience doesn't exist for others. But
I
just
know.
focusing on New York City and LA, like I grew up on the Upper West Side. It was a very like film literate world. It was just old people, and
Right.
they like love criticism and movies and quality. And I love the name of your questionnaire because I've seen many movies at that time, and it's usually with old people. They don't care about the rules. Bagels, coffee, it's all coming into the
Oh
theater,
yeah.
and then they're gonna watch something like Noah Baumbach film and go talk about it.
These are my people.
That's a really nice thing, but I grew up with that, so that's what I thought like everyone thought of movie
Yeah.
going, but that's not true, you know?
But I think also in a way it is true, and that might be appealing now too, with everything else going the opposite direction, like you said,
Hmm.
like culture, becoming like so quick and like the attention spans getting shorter.
Things needing
Like,
to be bigger too,
yeah, and I
louder.
think like even our generation and even younger generations might be craving something slower and
Hmm.
like a little like almost nerdy, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. And then in LA, I mean, you just started mentioning it, like, the arc lights closed, and that's spend an hour talking about that. But
Yeah.
like that's where I lived and worked out of college for like 5 years,
Yeah.
and I worked in the movie and TV business, like at a talent agency. So like that was another bubble I'm thinking of that I might have been in, where
Hmm.
everyone was talking about this constantly. I feel like LA movie going, it's I don't even know what to compare it to. It's like going to soccer matches in England.
Hmm.
Like it's just where it happens, whether that's Century City
Yeah.
or on the east side where you are.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the LA movie culture? It's just the best, right?
It's crazy. It as big as it is, I feel like it could get even bigger with the demand. I mean, we could have 20 more IMAXs and like 100 more rep theaters and it would still work. The past year especially, I don't know if it's like a late recovery from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I'm often finding like I can't get tickets to movies because
Mm.
it's sold out. Like American Cinematheque always sold out. Any advanced screening, and it's like, yeah, that's great, but would love to get a ticket.
Right. But I feel like something you've done with the questionnaire is try to branch out, whether that's the rest of
Yeah.
the country or the rest of the world. Like, what are people saying about movie going when they're not from LA or New York? Because I feel like it's a very privileged place to be for the arts. But
Yeah, and it really shouldn't be, especially when it comes to multiplexes. Like every movie should be shown everywhere. There is demand. I think it's very elitist to think, only people in New York and LA want to see certain types of movies
hmm.
or want to see older movies. That's not true at all. I mean, I'm originally from Turkey. I have loads of friends in Turkey who see these movies. Like they find a way to see them if
Right.
even if it's not in theaters. I think that's a big like blind spot for distributors. Like I hate the like limited release culture.
Mm.
I don't enjoy talking about a movie if I know it's only going to be shown in like four cities. It's
Yeah.
just so boring. Like who
No,
cares?
that's so true, and it hasn't happened yet this year because that usually comes in the fall and in winter, like with Oscar-y films.
Right.
But it's true. Like I think I was angriest about this with Nickel Boys
Oh my God.
because that felt like it was out even in LA just for like
Movie
a
of the
week or
year.
two,
Yeah.
and then was gone, and no one saw it or heard about it. And even though it goes up on Amazon Prime, I don't think the awareness was there to give that the push it needed.
No, and it's not how it's meant to be seen. So it's just, it kind of ruins the experience for everybody.
Platform releasing was very successful in like the 80s when word of mouth can just so quietly and slowly spread and then become like this wildfire. But because of how the internet works, if a movie's out somewhere, the awareness is there. Now you're just pissing someone off in Iowa that wants to see it but can't see it, and maybe we'll never see it.
Yeah, or they'll see it on TikTok in like 200 parts or something.
Right.
Which is a legit thing people do.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are movie theaters doing well right now that you really respect?
I guess it depends on the theater, right? But AMC A-list membership, obviously a big one.
It's dope.
It's dope. A lot of people don't know about it still, which is surprising. Like, I'm still telling people about it. But
if you see just 2 movies in a month, you're already making up the amount. No, I'm kidding.
No, you should say it. And you get to go on the, like, special line for snacks.
Feel like royalty.
Yeah, I mean, like, specific theaters. Vidiots is a great one here.
What is Vidiots for the listeners who might not know?
Vidiots is an old video store. I believe it used to be in Pasadena, and then they moved to Eagle Rock. They still have the video store. You can become a member. It's something like $100 for the whole year, and you can rent all the DVDs you want. And then they have two rooms next door. One is a larger room. One is like a small, I believe Mubi owns that room. They have like a micro cinema that's for like 20 people.
Smart.
And what I love is that they have a bar and you can just go hang out there. And like once I went there, even not seeing a movie, I just went there to hang out with a friend.
Right.
And I think that's so cool to, you know, if you don't have plans for the day, just go there, have a drink, see if you want to see something. If not, just, you know, you're
and maybe you'll meet someone cool that loves movies too.
Probably.
I mean, you will, obviously.
Probably, yeah. So I think any way to get people in that's not just dependent on the movie is cool. Posted about this theater in Newport Beach called the Lido Theater. Every morning they have a free movie with any breakfast purchase.
Really? Wow.
And it's the most stunning theater. Like, you can have your coffee in this, like, beautiful room. And you don't have to finish the movie either. Like, you can just hang out for a while. And you still get to support a theater.
Right. And you've mentioned already a couple times repertory theaters. Like, what is the value you find of programming old movies?
I hate seeing movies at home. I can't do it. Like, to me, watching stuff at home is for, like, reality TV. I can't do it. And like Severance, you know. So I just try to see everything in those theaters. I think it's so important. I think it's a way to preserve, like, not to be corny, but like history and culture. Like, it's like, I have so much respect for organizations like restoring these movies and making them available. I think it's a way to also find out like what you like. So if you're only seeing things at home that are like easy to watch, like, you're never gonna know what else is out there. Like, if you go to a theater and like sit in the dark for 2 hours, you can watch a lot of things that are outside of your like comfort zone. Yeah.
What about the potential fact that movies were just better in the past?
Oh, do you think so?
Sometimes when I watch old movies at rep theaters, I'm like, wow, we don't make them like this anymore.
Well, yeah, you're right. And like, we don't push the boundaries because like nothing's being sold right now. Yeah. It's true. It's true. I mean, I'm very easy. I like a lot of movies.
No, that's great.
I haven't thought about it that way before. You're probably right.
No, it's just that, you know, like we'll talk about the theater I like, but, you know, here in San Francisco, we have the Balboa. Just trusting their taste and their programming and knowing, like you said, you're going to be taken to a different world is a very special thing.
Yeah.
And no shade to AMC, which I'm an A-list member and I love, and I'm there all the time, but it's not a cozy, unique environment. That's very hard for a corporation to pull off. You know, the fact that there's even brand loyalty to AMC is pretty impressive.
That's a great point. Yeah.
I feel like you're never feeling like you're in warm and cozy hands at AMC.
I totally agree. There is a sense of community, and like, you start actually seeing the same people too, which is so cool. Like, you get to see your neighbors. It just feels, more sophisticated as well.
So also, you know, sorry to stay on LA and New York, but LA's got this great 401k called the American Cinematheque, which I was a member of, and I miss it dearly. What do you think of them and what they do?
Oh, they're amazing. I mean, should I say this? I heard a rumor they bought or like they're licensing a theater by me, and I hope it's true.
Wow. They kind of need another one.
Yeah, and this is a big one too.
They're very tapped into the studios, I think, the directors of old movies. They're always bringing out guests, which is, again, like a very LA-centric privilege. But if you're there, that's what you should be doing, right?
Yeah. I think, going back to what you said, you have people with amazing taste programming things for you, and that's very apparent with them. Like, the programming is always amazing. I love that they like rejuvenate these old theaters. Like the Egyptian theater was closed before they, I think, started licensing.
And then the irony, a little bit of Netflix help reopens that too. As they've done with the Paris Theater in New York City, as they've done with the Sag Harbor Cinema in the Hamptons.
I know, and the Paris Theater is stunning. But the Paris Theater doesn't have its own programming, right?
I'm not sure.
So the Egyptian here does, which is cool. So you get some capitalism, you get some.
Yeah. No, it's hard. We have to just play a little.
Yeah, exactly.
Mental jujitsu.
No, we love American Cinematheque, and like the membership too is it's not expensive when you consider what you're getting. It's tax deductible.
Do you feel when there's like a big screening one night in LA, it's like one of the most popular events in the city that night? Because there were sometimes like a certain movie would be on 70 millimeter. Like that's one of the hardest tickets in town for the night. Like,
or I wonder if it feels that way to us because we think everyone.
Well, in a small subsect of community, but like I'm sure you've been on the American Cinematheque waiting line.
Oh, totally! It's like a Taylor Swift
insane.
concert. It's crazy.
It's insane.
I haven't been able to get tickets at the Aero Theater ever. It's always sold out. But I'm also like, great, good for you.
Yeah.
Happy.
So, do you think this appetite exists across the country? Like, I find that, I went to school in Michigan, in Ann Arbor. Like, there's a great local theater there. I think a lot of towns have great movie theaters. Do you think that kind of, like, curatorial, well-programmed energy is starting to pick up elsewhere? Because I think so. But I haven't, like, been hit in the streets of this great and complicated nation and finding out.
Yeah. Like, anecdotally, I do think so, and TikTok makes me think so, because you have so many people just talking about older movies, like young people talking about older movies, and Criterion and Letterboxd, and, like, A24 becoming, like, a genre on TikTok, which is, like, like, it's weird, but it's good ultimately for the health of the industry.
Right.
I think there's gotta be, and like movies like, again, like Barbie, Oppenheimer, like bigger movies like Sinners, I think really help push it forward, because if one person watches Sinners and then like sees an interview of like Ryan Coogler talking about his influences, and then they'll go back and watch those movies, and then that's
That's a great point, because in the past, like, those interviews were so stodgy and old-fashioned, and like, why would a young person see that? Like, I wasn't around then, but, like, I don't think young people, unless they were serious film lovers, were watching, like, Ebert and Siskel.
Right.
So if it's coming to you in bite-sized clips that are pitched at a way young people receive things, like, that's going to be really powerful.
Yeah, and, like, if you think Sinners is cool, then you're going to want to associate yourself with like more movies like that, and I think like we said, it is becoming cool again to have like an interest that's not just the phone.
I detect a little trepidation in your voice though. Do you get a little annoyed by people like taking something on as their personality? Because I do.
I don't get annoyed because I am like past that.
It's all
age.
a net positive, right?
Yeah, like I am like past that age where I would get annoyed. I used to get annoyed, but to me it's like, it's a good thing if someone is, I went to the Sofia Coppola Q&A, the Virgin Suicides screening at the Academy Museum last weekend, which was amazing. And
sick flex.
Yeah, sorry. I paid for my ticket, so but it was amazing, obviously. But yeah, like there were so many girls making TikToks in their like Lisbon sisters dresses, the floral dresses, white dresses. I'm like, great. Like
Great.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
What and like I think we need things to be a little cringe so
Yeah.
that they can last longer.
Okay, well, let's see how you feel about this. Did you see Minecraft a few weeks ago?
No.
Did you saw what was going on with
I did
Minecraft?
see what was going on.
How do you, a tasteful purveyor of these like very erudite urbane questionnaires, how do you feel about kids just going fucking nuts at these screenings?
I would probably rather die than be in that room. I can tell you that. I mean, no, my first thought is I wish we were paying theater employees more
Sure.
for those screenings. And like maybe even say like this will be a rowdy screening and like tell people in advance because I can imagine like like an older couple at that screening going absolutely
considering their life decisions and why they're here in this moment.
So maybe we need rowdy screenings.
I like that.
Designated ones.
I don't know about the like phone on talk as much as you want screenings versus non, but like a rowdy screening where maybe the staff is paid more that night because of how shitty it's going to be.
Exactly.
But again, like kind of a net positive. And I don't know the full stats, but it seemed like the rising tide lifts all boats when it comes to a big movie.
Yeah, that also makes me think of the Taylor Swift like concert movie screenings that were crazy. And yeah, I think that all feeds, that makes it possible for us to see quiet old movies at 11 a.m.
Well, back to young people, we talked about a bunch, but how do you feel about Letterboxd? Because, again, is this a net positive, even if it can be a little, I don't know, I don't really have anything negative to say. I think it's great. Yeah. I think that, like, I have friends, and I appreciate their opinion, that are saying that, like, moviegoing is the last thing I don't want to be logging, and, like, my life is logged in X, Y, and Z way.
Yeah.
We track our fitness stats. We have Goodreads for books, like can movies be left alone? And that's very pure of my friend, and I respect it. I've been logging on Letterboxd for probably like 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I do too, and I have a terrible memory, so it really helps me.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people ask me for film recs, so I always check my Letterboxd. I guess the only beef I would have with it, if I had to have beef, like, I really respect the job of a film critic so much. Like, I think it's so hard. I think it requires a lot of, knowledge of history, and some of my favorite film critics are like my favorite writers. So I think we shouldn't confuse like a Letterboxd review with film criticism. If someone's like trying to be a film critic, it's probably a nice like starting ground for them, but I don't ever take the reviews like as seriously as I would take like a legit film critic.
Right.
I think it's fine. Like let people make their little jokes. Yeah.
What I love about it is how easy it makes film discovery. Because I remember like just all these notes on my phone or computer of like movies I wanted to see, and I'm glad that is streamlined a little bit.
Oh yeah, my watch list it never stops. It
Yeah.
never stops growing.
Okay, what about your thoughts on film Twitter? Do you know what that is?
Oh my
like
God,
colloquially
do I?
called film
Do
Twitter?
I? Yeah.
So, how would you define film Twitter? I feel like it's its own beast at this point. It gets referenced on podcasts a lot, but no one's really saying like, what is this shit?
I mean, ultimately, it's just like a group of people talking about films. There are a lot of like people that stand out that are doing it really consistently. I have a few friends who are like big on film Twitter, and I respect them, but I think it's a whole other skill you need to have. Like, I kind of get bored, like whenever there's film Twitter discourse, like when there's a topic that gets talked about, I'm kind of bored after hour 2,
Right.
But then it goes on for days.
Right.
So I think it's like great for people who love to just talk about something to its full extent.
Yeah. I'm thinking of
But
like Conclave and all the jokes,
oh my
but
God,
which
yeah.
actually
Those are
carried that
great.
movie to
Yeah.
more and more money, you know? So
That's what I was gonna
sometimes,
say. It's great for discovery. It's great for word of mouth. I think Sinners probably benefited a lot from it.
I think the craziest, like, I don't know, Challengers was nuts, like when that was taking
Crazy.
off. And
It's
it's
good
just
when
like
it's like,
comedy. It's like
yeah,
free comedy
yeah.
attached to a movie that when it's good, it's really funny. My issue is when like people don't know what they're talking about. They're getting facts wrong, or something that shouldn't be getting hyped is getting overhyped. And
Yes. I think
I saw this recently with like Ballerina, which apparently is not that bad, and I might go see it in the next couple days. But Lionsgate said that no negative reaction was allowed. So if you were going to react early to the film before its reviews were out, you had to be positive.
I feel like they can't ask for that. That's crazy. That's crazy. We
Weird,
shouldn't
right?
take that seriously. But I agree. I think you need to always keep in mind like film Twitter has been wrong before and they'll be wrong again. Like Materialists recently went viral. I don't know if you saw like that one clip with Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and
The
Chris
beer and a
Evans.
Coke thing.
Yeah, and everyone was like dragging the acting. And
Right.
I was like, you know what? I loved Past Lives. I'm gonna give her a bit more credit.
Right.
And now I'm seeing reviews saying it's great, and it's not what it looks like at all. So I think we need to be like, we need to take it with a grain of
Calm down, right?
calm
We need to
down.
just take a breath.
But then I don't know. I have friends who are on film Twitter who are very reactive.
Yeah.
I mean, a reactionary, and I kind of love that too. I think it's so fun, like watching them argue with people.
Well,
But it
again, I
can
mean, I feel like we keep
entertaining.
saying this, but it's just like net positive, right? Like if
Yeah,
it's keeping movies in people's
yeah.
top of mind, like that's always going
I
to be
like
a good thing.
sometimes it is that serious, you know.
Right.
Sometimes you need to argue.
Speaking of arguing, I filled out your questionnaire.
You did,
I
yes.
did. Have you read my answers yet?
I've skimmed your answers. I told you I read them when I'm drafting the post, but
Right.
I have skimmed them.
Okay.
I have some thoughts.
All right. So can I answer them here for you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, you can ask, and I'll do a version. I wrote out my answers to you, but I'll try to speak them to be more casual because this is a
Okay, great.
podcast and we're trying to be fun and
All right.
easygoing here.
All right, so what's your favorite day and time to go to the movies?
Okay. Like you, I feel like this can and often does change. Right now, I'm really digging a 6 p.m. screening, which is actually rarer than you'd think because I feel like 7's common or even 8. But 6 p.m., you end your workday, you're watching a movie, you're out in time to still have some life before bedtime, you know?
I agree. That's a great
So
time.
I like that time.
No complaints.
Okay.
Okay. All right, what's your favorite movie theater?
My favorite movie theater right now is the Balboa here in outer Richmond, San Francisco. It's got this insanely beautiful marquee, or I guess I should say like neon sign,
Yeah.
that just like makes me feel good and would make anyone feel good. Like I'd put anyone past this test to go to the Balboa and see that marquee lit up and be like, yeah, movie time, motherfucker, you know?
They have a great Instagram too. Very
Yeah.
consistent.
And then my old favorite theater was AMC Lincoln Center 13.
The original AMC.
Yes, which is just an awesome theater. I think the biggest IMAX screen in the country. Maybe Universal City Walk took it over as the biggest, but
I think maybe it's still the biggest.
I grew up a few blocks from there, so I saw many movies there. And I was once left behind at a kid's birthday party by his parents, by the chaperones.
Mention what the theme of the birthday
It
party.
was Chamber of Secrets, so it's 2002. So I would have been 6 years old. They fully went to the next leg of the birthday party, which was like a pizza party at the kid's apartment or something. And I was in the theater. And I'd love to tell you that like I wasn't traumatized and I just bounced around like the kid from Cinema Paradiso and just
Oh
like
my God.
had like this beautiful day. But no, I was very upset because I was very young. So
But what if this is the reason you're now working in movies? You never
that
know.
would be crazy. I don't have a therapist that's dug that deep yet. but if they get there, we can talk about that.
All right. What's your go-to movie theater snack and drink?
Okay, so you already said that you find people questionable if they don't eat or drink at the movies, and sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
When I do want a snack, though, I get popcorn, and then I mix Diet Coke and orange Fanta.
I think that's really... I don't like that.
Okay, they call that Spätzle in Germany.
Okay.
So they actually make a drink of those two flavors combined.
I mean, I am intrigued. Like, I've been trying a few of the mixtures people
It's
have
about
been
the ratio.
recommending. Yeah, maybe I'll try like a
It's like 75 DC, 25 Fanta.
Maybe that's fine then.
And then if it's the morning, I like to sneak in a bacon, egg, and cheese because I'm a New Yorker.
Hell yeah. I love that. I do that when I'm in New York.
Yeah, it's got to be done.
What would be your dream theater snack?
Okay, I wrote an omakase platter and a lightly dirty gin martini.
Oh my god, good.
I like to see the fish because I'm not like a fish expert. So I want to see like, okay, that's a mackerel. That's a yellowtail. Like, I don't want to just be popping sushi and if it's really good sushi.
Oh my god, that's a great point.
So I don't know, like maybe because I also don't like the Alamo with the lights on underneath the tables.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe the plate can be like have a light underneath it or something.
This is a dream world, so we'll figure something out. Like, it would also be really smelly, so you can't do this anyway. You know?
Yeah.
That is a
right.
vibe, though. That would be a good vibe.
Yeah.
What is the first movie you remember seeing in a theater?
Okay, so I don't know. So it's one of two answers. The first one is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace or Elmo in Grouchland.
Great.
Very different movies.
Strong.
Both from 1999, so I'm 3 years old at this point. Yeah, I don't know which came first, but I remember seeing both of them.
So you do remember?
I kind of do, yeah.
Wow, Phantom Menace would go crazy at the as well.
I saw it, I swear to God, I have this in my head, like very close to the screen on the left side facing the screen.
Wow. Okay,
I was definitely with my dad, and I was definitely with my friend Justin Friedman. Shout out, Justin.
I can kind of remember where I was seated too in my first experience. Isn't that crazy? We remember
crazy.
so much.
But also forget so much too.
Yeah. What's the last movie you saw in a theater?
So I rewatched The Phoenician Scheme the other night.
Loved it.
And I had this inkling of an idea that it would be better on the rewatch because I feel like Wes Anderson always is. And I was right.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. As part of the Cannes coverage, my co-host Senna, Ajay, and I were interviewing people fresh out of the black tie premiere of the movie. And
Flex.
people were hating on it. And they said Wes is a one-trick pony, or this is boring, or this is complicated. And we had just seen it a couple hours earlier and both like loved it. So I just don't really, I wrote about this on the Substack this week, but like the Wes hate, I'm not getting it. I feel like
I have to read that because I agree.
I feel like he's like coming into himself even more as a creator. And he's already so himself, but he's getting even more himself, which is crazy. These are not the same movies. Like, they have similar themes. They look similar, but what they're about is just completely different each time. So the Phoenician Scheme's like this 1950s Indiana Jones caper. That's a father-daughter story at the end of it.
That's also very funny.
Very funny. And then I think it's radical that it has a point and a moral. And it's not like leaving so much up to interpretation. Like, I feel like the more like odd and obfuscated a movie is, like people could be like, oh, that's really cool and special what that did. I'm like, okay, sure. But like Wes is cool because he says kindness is good.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I think people now take him so for granted. Like, you think this is easy what he does, like telling a story in that way. Like, even if you think he's a one-trick pony, like that trick is so insane to me that like you should be so lucky. Like,
exactly.
And I agree that it's only if you're watching it super, you know, on the surface level that it's even similar to anything else.
By the way, the similarities like make me very happy. I love the look. I'm very pleased and satisfied by it.
I noticed like I love when he does this in every movie, I think, when someone's just like listing different items.
Yeah.
I love it. Every movie, I look forward to it. Next question. Is there a movie you wish you could have seen in a theater?
So, yes, like all of them. But I would say The Shining, opening night, 1980. I understand it was received in a very lukewarm, mixed fashion.
Yeah.
Which I think is like a perfect movie and one of my favorite movies. But like, people would have been upset because the movie was too scary and upsetting. Like, that's maybe what we're getting at. But I need to be there that night to see if that's true. And I don't know. I love that film, so I would have loved to have seen it without knowing. Like, I saw it pretty young, so I was surprised by a lot in it. But imagine just seeing that completely fresh, like none of the iconography. You've never seen, like, the carpet. You've never seen the twins. You've never seen the woman in the bathtub. Now I'm spoiling the movie, but
the
like,
hotel,
imagine just fucking going in blind. Wow.
Insane. That movie did so much for the movies that came after it. Like any movie like that, I think you mentioned Heat somewhere else. I think it's similar. Like movies that inspired so many different like movies after it. We need a film festival of those.
And how many movies like have their own history and world surrounding them? Like David Lynch films for sure. And then Stanley Kubrick films. Like the cottage industry of film education surrounding it is its own thing. Like the video essays, everything. And then that investigative feeling can transfer into other movies. So it's all good.
That's a good one. Okay, what is your ideal movie theater seat?
Dead middle, right in the center of the theater.
Okay. This is not one of the questions. Do you leave to like go to the bathroom and stuff?
I try not to.
Yeah, same.
I try not to.
I always feel like I'm going to miss the best scene of the movie if I leave.
In Cannes, I saw Sentimental Value, the Joachim Trier film. I know, I'm annoying at this point. With Renata Reinsva, it was the best movie I saw at the festival. And Senna went to the bathroom, and he comes back, and he's like, "What I miss?" And I'm not going to say what it was because it's a spoiler. But I'm like, I would love to tell you like nothing, but like, you missed the greatest fucking scene in this movie, man. I'm so sorry.
And you can't see it again for like 9 months.
Right, until it gets clipped on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but also not.
Oh, wow, no.
Yeah.
All right, this is a big one. What is one thing you would change to make movie theaters better?
I have a few answers. I think phones gotta go. And nothing bothers me more than someone who's like not directly, I mean, I would hate someone next to me on their phone, but like someone who's a few seats away that you can't really like get to. And I do all these weird body contortions to like create like my own viewfinder, so I'm not seeing this, or I lift my leg up, or I like cover my eye, like anything to not have that little light like distracting me.
Yeah, Apple Watches too now.
It's true. I think good seats are good, like improving the seats.
Yeah,
would be great. You know, to be serious for a second, like I feel like in the rest of the country, like that's the biggest complaint you hear is like the theater fucking sucks. Like, why am I going to that when I could be at home?
Yeah.
And so like, how are you getting people out of homes like where maybe they have like their favorite pet and their favorite blankets and their snacks? Like, how do you make the experience premium and luxury, but also bring the prices down? Because I think it's just way too expensive to go to the movies right now.
Yeah. This is obviously a big one. Everyone's first complaint is phones. To me, it also signals like the theater doesn't care about you. Like you are giving them money, but they don't care enough to like
police
fix
a bit.
Huge issue.
Yeah.
I know there's so many things that, you know, it is a hard issue to fix, but there are ways, you know. There are ways to fix it. And
then Alamo Drafthouse to me is like kind of funny because people say it's like a movie sanctuary, and then you have all these Oompa Loompas running around left and right in front of you, and you're like, how can I focus? Like, I know it's nice to have food served, but like these servers are running past you. It's intense.
Yeah. I mean, here's my
Please.
hot take. I am kind of getting better at like not caring about the distractions, which I'm so happy about. I am so easily irritated in any other circumstance, but I'm kind of thinking in my head like it's still better than watching it at home, you know, and I'm already here. So
let's make a good time of it.
Obviously depends on the movie, like
no, it's true. Like why are you gonna let someone get you down and psych you out when you took your ass to the movie?
Yeah, and like depends on the movie. Final Destination I just saw the new one, and the people next to us were talking and commenting on stuff, but I was like, it's a silly movie. Like, who cares? Like, you know, they weren't like in my ear like loud, but like it was still irritating. But I was like, you know, maybe this is one of those experiences like we need to.
The worst thing I've experienced recently, I mean, it's a couple of years ago, but I saw the Batman, like the Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson one, and that's like a really transporting, dark, exciting, intense movie. And clearly these like parents wanted to see it but couldn't arrange a sitter, so they just like plopped their 3 kids next to us and let them just go hog wild on their iPads and shit.
Not iPads.
Yeah, like game noises, like whizzing and fizzing, and I'm just like, this is just... I'm gonna call child services on this. That was terrible.
Well, apparently I found this out from someone who works at AMC's. You can report this to whoever the on-site manager is, and they will come and talk to those people. But I'm like, isn't that also distracting?
Oh, yeah, that's creating a bigger issue.
Yeah, and now I'm like in the center of this drama.
Yeah.
Like,
I think what I could have done is just left and been like, you're gonna give me a ticket for another day because this was terrible.
Yeah, that does sound horrible. Where do you stand on intermissions?
You mentioned how you feel about them. I agree with you. I don't love them. I think they're kind of nice in very long movies. Of course, like The Brutalist and Lawrence of Arabia I mentioned, like an intermission there is just a really good feeling. But the spell of a movie being broken by a break, and like maybe you check your phone, maybe you see other people on their phone, maybe you have these like fluorescent lights above you, like it's just tough to get back into the swing of the movie. Yeah, I agree. I don't think many movies need it. Yeah. But it is kind of cool to like hear snippets of what people are thinking or feeling. Like I saw Lawrence of Arabia through American Cinematheque, and there's an intermission. It was a really nice thing. Like this dad with must have been like his 7-year-old son who was just being like, gee whiz, dad, like the movie's so cool. I'm like, yeah, kid, like it is. That's nice. That's cool. Yeah, I like when it's built in, so it's like it comes in at a time where it makes sense. Like The Brutalist. Is there a trailer you've seen before a movie recently that stuck with you? All right, so I'm just so glad to have this stage, my own podcast, to talk about this. I don't watch trailers. No, I think that's cool. I don't watch them. I believe that, like, I'm going to see the movie, so I don't want to see a single frame of it prior to seeing the film. And I'll only ever watch a trailer if I need to know, like, what the hell a movie is and, like, should I even give it some time. But usually I have a sense, and I'll probably want to see the movie, so I don't need to see a trailer. How about a teaser? Don't like that either. Wow, okay. Nothing. You missed out on like the Oppenheimer teaser and stuff. Yeah, but like I saw the movie, so I'm good, right? Some directors get final cut of their films, but also their trailers. So like I understand Paul Thomas Anderson makes great trailers. Yeah. But I'm going to see One Battle After Another the day it comes out. Yeah. I don't need to know a single thing about it. No, I think trailers have gotten out of control. It's crazy. Like, I don't need to see every little thing. You mentioned the 28 Years Later trailer as a good one. I agree. Like, I like when it gets me in a certain mood. And I think that's so much on the editors. Like, when the editor's good, it's great. The 28 Years Later trailer has this Rudyard Kipling Boots poem recited. Oh, creepy. And it gets so creepy. And you're not understand. Like sometimes I can't escape a trailer. It's just a fact. Like Maria Menounos has gone away, so now there's trailers. But I do try to get to the movie like 25 minutes after its start time with AMC because I know that's when Nicole Kidman's walking out. Yeah. But that 28 Years Later trailer is really creepy, and I think I just saw, but I swear I saw this, that it won an award. There's like a trailer awards. And it won the top prize for Best Trailer. And I wasn't surprised because it's so evocative and creepy. Yeah. Oh, have you seen the Weapons trailer? Nope. Don't want to see it. That's
such a good one.
I know. I'm sure it is, but I just want to like.
Won't be seeing it.
I'll be there. I'll be there opening day. Don't worry.
Okay, what is a movie you're looking forward to seeing at the theater?
Well, those are three good ones. 28 Years Later, Weapons, and One Battle After Another. I really want to see the new Luca Guadagnino film, After the Hunt, because I am a big fan of him, but also last year, like the Challengers queer doubleheader.
Yeah,
fucking
crazy.
Brilliant. The Safdie brothers facing off against each other. Like, I don't want to make it into a thing, but I don't know if they're in such a great place as brothers, because obviously they're not directing together.
Right.
So I'm kind of interested in this like Safdie off of Marty Supreme and Smashing Machine. They're both about sports. One's about like tangential sports, but like ping pong and fighting. So it's kind of funny. They're going after a same genre. I'm sure the movies will be so different, but I'm very curious about those.
Are they coming out around the same time?
Definitely, at least in the latter part of the year, but I'm not exactly sure. I think Marty Supreme's right at Christmas.
Okay.
That's the Timmy one with ping pong. And then Smashing Machines with The Rock.
See, I thought it was about golf this whole time. So you're telling me it's ping pong.
Ping pong.
Interesting. Okay. I will be seated. What's your dream combination of director and lead or leads?
So I couldn't turn off my like development brain when I answered this, so I came up with like a real answer that maybe he'll see. Cord Jefferson, who did American Fiction, which is a Percival Everett book. Percival Everett wrote a book last year called James, which is Huckleberry Finn from James's perspective, the escaped slave. It just seems natural for Cord to like take that on next. He's so good with Percival Everett's words, so I would just love to see him continue.
That's a great idea. He should.
And then
should do that.
Michael B. Jordan as James, and then Owen Cooper from Adolescence, who's I know like if any movie is asking for like a 12 through 14-year-old, he's
the guy.
Top a list for everyone. But him as Huckleberry Finn, that could actually be good.
That's a great. I feel like you shouldn't give this away for free.
It's okay. I got a lot of these. It's all right.
I have some casting directors reading.
Okay. I'm sure they've thought of it. Trust me. You said dream, so I just would love to see. I won't, because he's dead. But William Friedkin directing all these people in their prime: Leo, Denzel, and Cate Blanchett.
Wow, that would be beautiful.
Don't know what the movie is, but
it could
cool.
be anything.
Yeah.
Great answers. Wow. Okay. I'm not even roasting.
Fun to talk them through, right?
I know.
You don't get this added. Maybe you need a podcast. Hey.
I know. I've heard that before, but
then you could get this casual repartee going.
Yeah, maybe.
It's fun. I'm always asking people things, so I like to talk.
I love
a brief spell.
Hearing about people's
Okay, good.
Things. If you could live in a movie, which one would it be? So
my favorite movie, when asked, is Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, but my actual answer is Chinatown. And that is a thorny thicket to walk into. I think I've seen, at least in the past like 5 years, I think I've seen Chinatown like 10 times. Wow. I just think it's perfect. So I'd love to like be a noir anti-hero in a film like that. But it would be very perilous and I might die, or like the person I love could die, so that's not great. But like the active adventure of a noir film, especially in that time period, would be pretty sweet. You said, what man doesn't want to cosplay in the world of Heat? Yes. Again, I might die, but I'm going out in a blaze of glory. My hair's going to be looking great because I'm sure Michael Mann had me grow it out. You're going to look great at night with City Lights. And then probably like for just the pure most fun, like, wouldn't it be great to be Indiana Jones? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. That would just be fun. Even the ride at Universal. Yeah. Fantastic. I could just ride that enough times and feel like I'm there. Yeah. Okay, so last question. Why do you think people should continue seeing movies at the movie theater? Well, I think when it's good, there's nothing better, you know? Like a great movie in a theater with a packed house that isn't on their phones and you don't know about the movie yet. Like, that's really special. and hard to replicate. And I don't think that life has that many like unique experiences anymore, or they're getting less and less. Maybe something's great and new, but god damn it, you just saw someone talking about it on TikTok. So like, how new is it? Like, it's very hard to just go in blind to something. So when you see a movie for the first time and you don't know the hype, you haven't seen the trailer, like, and then you're kind of like entering a compact with the people in the room, but also the director and the cast and the crew, and it's just like a gorgeous thing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why people should go to movies.
Well said. It can really change your life, not to be corny.
All right, I'm here with Ezgi Eren, otherwise known as 11 a.m. Saturday. It's funny to have like your title be a time and date.
It is.
Or are you good with it by now?
I am good with it.
It's like, what's up 11 a.m. Saturday?
Right. I almost changed it a couple months in because I was like, this is just so random. But now I have people like, refer to me as that, which I love.
That is wild. All right, so I have questions for you to turn the tables a bit.
All right.
They start pretty tame and they get increasingly spicy, okay?
Let's see.
What's the most embarrassing movie that you've seen multiple times in theaters?
Oh my god. Okay, I need my letterbox for this.
Okay.
Speaking of letterbox. Embarrassing movie. Is any movie embarrassing? I don't know.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
You know what? Like, probably people would say, like, La La Land.
Okay.
Embarrassing. I don't think it's embarrassing, but I guess maybe it was embarrassing how hard that movie hit me.
Yeah.
I was going through a breakup, and I saw it first time, by myself, and just, like, sobbed through it, and now I'm like, why was I like that? But at the time,
it's funny when a movie just like pulls you into a vortex, in the sense that like you have to see it multiple times before it leaves theaters.
Yeah,
that happened to me with Dune 2, which happened to a lot of people with that.
How many times?
I think I saw that 4 times.
Okay, that's pretty good. I think I saw it 3 times.
Yeah, there you go. What is a movie that everyone else loves but you just don't get?
Trap.
Okay.
I just saw a tweet that was like, if you hated Trap, I do think less of you, or something. I was like, fuck.
But that's the exact kind of energy that will make you dig into your opinion, because that's annoying.
Exactly. So now I own it. But I had a terrible experience watching that movie. So that's probably a huge part of it. It was a very rowdy room, and people were doing the thing of laughing at like when they thought the writing was bad.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, like, we get it. You're smarter.
I had Hereditary ruined for me because it was scary, and the person next to me was like trying to laugh away the scariness, and I'm like, I know you're scared shitless. I know that you're just like laughing because you're scared, but now you're distracting me.
Now you're just ruining it. I think this might be a bigger problem than phones. I hate it so much. Because the first time, sure, we all acknowledge that, you know, something's scary or awkward or weird. And then you keep doing it, and now we all think we're smarter than the movie. Like, why are we even here, you know?
Terrible. All right, well, this is kind of along those lines, but, or the opposite. What's a movie that everyone hates that you love?
Oh, my God. I don't know. Hang on. What did everyone hate recently? I mean, we could say the latest, like, last 3 Wes Andersons. I could say people, you know, we discussed it in the beginning, but people saying he's, like, becoming a meme of himself and all that. And I don't agree. I think it's the last 3, The French Dispatch, Asteroid City, and now The Phoenician Scheme, I think are his best works. And
love that.
Yeah. What else? You know what? I really enjoyed, not that people hated this, but I really liked The Apprentice last year with Sebastian Stan, and I think people really avoided that movie because they didn't want to subject themselves to even more of those characters. But I think it was a lot more broad than I expected it to be. It could be about anyone, you know. It could be about anyone of that character, and it was really insightful. And like,
that's a great answer.
I find myself thinking about it a lot with everything going on.
Okay, you can't say La La Land, but what's the movie that made you cry the hardest?
No, it's not La La Land.
Okay.
Oh my God. You know, I'm not a big crier though. Fuck, what did I... Oh, actually, Nickel Boys. And it was so unexpected because it was the last like 10 minutes or so. There's a really unique montage
Right.
that mixes like scenes from the movie and like stock footage and just like stunning music. And it just got me like immediately. I started crying. And
Did it last for 10 minutes? Like the duration of that art film? Like
and
that was you crying?
I was still
You run out of
crying
water?
after the movie ended, which never happens to me.
Oh my God.
I was just like hit with every single emotion on earth, and that movie is just amazing.
That's awesome. I don't know if this is your style, but do you have a line of movie dialogue that you quote casually?
These are great questions. I mean, It's All Happening from Almost Famous. Love that movie. I just saw The Virgin Suicides again, and there's some great quotable lines in that movie. Like, oh my God, no, I'm not. I'm gonna butcher it.
It has to be like a Shazam. You gotta like get the lines from the movie and then
I know.
regurgitate them in real life.
Yeah, I would say like It's All Happening is a big one.
Okay, that's a great one.
Almost Famous.
All right, you're programming a double feature for a first date. What 2 films do you pick?
I have this ready to go.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, La Chimera
Nice.
and The Double Life of Veronique. I
Okay.
think this would be, I need someone to hear me out. This would be an amazing double feature. Both movies have this like magical realism that's so beautiful, romantic, and like understated. Both are pretty quiet, but like lovely visuals. Very much you escape to a different world for a few hours. I think it'd be an amazing double feature.
Cool.
And you get to see Josh O'Connor on a first date, which is great.
What film is considered a masterpiece that you think is just okay?
Oh my God. Controversial, maybe.
I said they're gonna get spicier. It's like Hot Ones.
Yeah, and I don't hate this movie, but Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Okay.
probably. And I don't know, is it considered a masterpiece? Because I'm not hearing about it a lot.
No,
lately.
it
It kind of died down.
it definitely meant a lot to people in the moment, but
Yeah.
it's true. There
And
hasn't been.
Michelle Yeoh is amazing. I think that Oscar's very well deserved, but that was kind of one of the experiences where I was like,
What you mean taking it from Lydia Tarr?
yeah.
Because I'm not over that.
Yeah.
I needed Lydia Tarr to tackle her off the stage like she does
but
to the
that was
other
a-
conductor in Tar. I'm
That
talking
was a
about Kate
rough
Blanchett,
year.
of course.
She would. That was a rough year. I mean, yes, I think it's still deserved, but the best picture and everything else, no.
Okay. Who is a director whose work you just can't get behind? I'm not talking. We're not talking Roman Polanski. I'm not talking politics.
Okay, no one canceled.
Just forget cancel. That's too easy.
Okay.
Just like whose oeuvre you're just like, nah.
Yeah, I can tell you. Emerald
Fennell.
Fennell? Fennell?
Yeah.
How do you say your name? Yeah, I just did not like either of her movies. Maybe I will get behind her new one. I don't know, but I think on paper there
Director
are movies
of
that, like,
Promising Young Woman and Saltburn.
Saltburn.
Yep.
To me, like they are a bit like visuals over substance.
Okay.
Vibes, like they are very beautiful, and I can tell she has an amazing mood board always. Like the music cues are amazing, but then the movies themselves, like I'm always a bit like, okay.
Got it. All right. What theater ritual do people romanticize way too much? Or is it all romantic? It's all gravy.
It's all romantic. Way too much. I'm not the right person to ask.
You love it
that
all.
to.
You love
I
it all.
obviously romanticize it so much. It's
Okay.
my life.
Huh?
Maybe I need to romanticize like getting snacks and stuff less. That is maybe my takeaway from this interview. Some movies I can just be there without
snackless.
anything to eat. Yeah.
Okay. What movie do you think people pretend to like the most?
I mean, I will say like they are good movies, but The Godfather can't be everyone's favorite movie. Like it just
Okay.
can't be.
That's interesting.
They are amazing, obviously, and like groundbreaking, but I do think it is like a go-to for way too many people. Oh my God. Wait, also I want to know your answers for these.
I know. Well, you won't get them.
Okay,
You
good.
know what my girlfriend would say is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh,
She
okay.
fucking hates that movie.
Really, I like that movie.
And I know a lot of people who think that's the greatest movie of all time, and then a lot of others who are like, why are we thinking
Yeah,
this
I
is the
get
greatest
that.
film of all time?
I get that. You know, like from more recent ones, I could say Hereditary probably.
Okay.
And I'm not a hater. I like Ari Aster's movies, but that one in particular doesn't stand out to me more than the others. Like, I would say maybe Midsommar is more unique.
All right, last question. What movie do you wish you walked out of but didn't?
Trap.
Trap, again.
No, that's too much. I don't hate it that much. What movie I wish I could have walked out of? I'll tell you. Pride and Prejudice re-release.
Why?
Because this was the worst audience I've ever encountered.
Nice,
It was...
nice political cop-out answer. Love it.
Is it? Okay.
I was talking about the quality of the movie, but the quality of the audience is important. You're right.
Damn, quality of the movie, I'm just like, my memory's so bad.
You said at the top of the pod you love every movie.
I did say that. I love every movie up to a certain point. Like, it's very rare I would consider walking out. I walked out of a Marvel movie, Doctor Strange, because I was like, I have no idea what's going on anymore. And
that's your answer. That's great. That's
you know
great.
what? Gladiator 2, let's say. I could have walked out. I wouldn't because I like the actors, but it did lose me kind of like halfway through. I was like, I didn't really care anymore.
All right. Well, that's the show. That's the episode. I want to thank you for going from talking about movies that you love to your spicier movies you hate. I'm sorry to take you to the dark side, but no, your work is always on the light side and shining light on moviegoing. So it's really special. So keep it up.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Any last words for the audience?
See you at the movies.
See you at the movies. All right. Thank you, Ezgi.
Thank you.